Hi, I'm Lindie, I'm 29 and I'm pretty much restarting my entire life. I quit my job as a senior product designer in cryptocurrency a few weeks ago, just after 8 months of being there. I'm also very close to finishing my master's thesis, and then I will be unemployed and not a student anymore. And I have to think what to do with my life. So I'll take you through the 2 reasons that I quit my job, as well as what are my plans for the next 6 months. This video is sponsored by Skillshare, so stay tuned for more about them later. A few months ago, I came out of an engagement with the man I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. So that totally threw a massive spanner in the works. He moved on really fast. Like, he got engaged to someone else within 2 months, which I think is wild. Bruh. But we're not here to talk about that. That's just context of like one aspect of where my life changed, and I pretty much have to start from scratch. I have mentioned that my mom passed away almost 2 years ago, just under 2 years, and that was also a huge thing that made me feel like, what do I do now? I've lost a massive part of my life and my family, and what do I do now? Also in October, I joined a new company. I started working as a senior product designer at a cryptocurrency exchange, and I left the job after 8 months. So I'm restarting, new relationship status, you know, trying to figure out how to live without my mother, who was my best friend, and started and quit a job within 8 months. I'm sitting here like, what am I even doing in this country? When can I move again? Because my feet are so itchy from being in South Africa for almost 3 years. Like, if you've watched my videos about being a third culture kid, I grew up moving every 3 to 5 years, and my limit these days is like 3 years, and then I'm yeeting to a different country. So that 3-year mark is coming up, and I sure am itching to go to Spain or Hungary. I quit my job as a senior product designer in cryptocurrency a few weeks ago. So I'll take you through the 2 reasons that I quit my job, as well as what are my plans for the next 6 months. So why would I quit a well-paying job, fully remote, as a senior product designer in one of the coolest industries? Out of respect for the company, I'm not going to go into too many specific details. Briefly and vaguely, every single piece of design work that I did never saw the light of day. In tech terms, it was just not pushed to production ever. So I couldn't measure the impact of my designs. I couldn't see what changes I'm making, and my work was just not valued. As a senior designer, you really need to be looking at, I just didn't feel like I was valued. And the work that I was doing was much lower level than a senior should be expected to do, but I was willing to push through and keep going with the opportunity maybe to switch teams, try new things. And honestly, the field I was working in was really interesting. So I was working in security, helping introduce features for passkeys, which is like a new technology for securing your account. Biometrics, I thought, was really important work that my team and I were doing. 2 main reasons outside of what happened at the company. I have a lot of love and a lot of respect for my colleagues and for the company and what they're doing, but the trajectory of my life and the combination of things that have happened in the last 2 years have been weighing on me really heavily. All of the stress led to burnout, which made me physically sick. I was vomiting, I couldn't eat. Like, during meetings, I would get sick and have to turn my camera off. I went to the hospital, I got ECGs, x-rays, blood tests, CT scans, everything got done. 2 doctors misdiagnosed me, and then my other doctor basically diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. And she said, oh, this is just a diagnosis that we give when we just don't really know what else is going on. And it causes a lot of physical body pain, headaches, migraines, shoulder pain, stomach aches, can't eat, low energy, sleep, depression, etc. I was in the hospital 3 times. They said it was pleurisy, then they said it was heartburn, and then I'm like, it's probably just anxiety, and then my doctor's like, it's fibromyalgia. Literally the moment I quit my job, that physical pain from my body got so much better, and that started interfering with my work. The health is honestly the main reason I quit. It's not a great time to quit the tech industry. The industry is not doing really well now, and it's really hard to find a job in tech. So I'm very fortunate that I have been able to save in order to take a complete break from working for the next year. I worked really hard to get to the point where I can actually take somewhat of a sabbatical. Ask myself the question of what is really important to me and what can I be doing now? Okay, so the two reasons I quit my job was kind of like dissatisfaction in my position as well as burnout regarding my health. It was all of the stress from the broken engagement to my mom passing away, plus also working on my master's thesis at the same time. So what are my plans for the next 6 months at least before I decide to maybe just jet off to a different country? So first of all, what's really important to me is continuous learning and development. I love learning. I think it's such an important desire to have, to be teachable. I want to write more ebooks. I actually do want to write and get a book published. If you have any ideas, let me know, but I have stuff floating around here. I still am doing my master's degree. It's due at the end of August. Almost done. And I've been doing like 10 to 11 hour days, 3 or so times a week to just be typing on my thesis. It is wild. I'm also potentially gonna be on a TV show or 2. More about that later if it does come to pass. I'm currently going through the rounds of applying or being interviewed. Yes, there's a ton going on. And what I need to do is learn how to prioritize that, because I'm so excited about everything that I can do and all the skills I want to learn. I have been using Skillshare to take some classes on productivity. Skillshare is the biggest online learning community for creatives. There are thousands of classes led by industry pros across film, illustration, design, marketing, and freelance and productivity and more. Skillshare learning paths are handpicked classes that are meant to be taken in order, so they build on each other and they reinforce lessons. Whether you're beginner or advanced in a skill, you can find a learning path that is right for you. At the moment, I'm taking Ali Abdaal's class called How to Organize Your Workflow to Maximize Productivity. Ali is a famous productivity YouTuber, and I'm also currently reading his book, so it's really nice to learn directly from him. What I've learned from him so far that is useful is planning should not be granular because life gets in the way. So perfectionists like myself, we like to plan down to the smallest detail, especially if you're a language learner, like you just have this insane ideal plan, life happens, and then you feel bad when you don't stick to your very detailed plan. So Ali Abdaal in his Skillshare class suggests that you should rather do your planning in the mornings of the day. So what I'm trying to do with Skillshare is turn my, like, I wish I could do that into I did that. So now is really the time where I can work on my skills and be like, yes, I've mastered productivity. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a month's free trial on Skillshare. So get started today. Apart from learning new skills in productivity and Procreate, there are some other things that I do want to do in the rest of this year. Above all, I am planning to rest. That's really the core of why I left my job, is I need to rest. Sleeping and physical activity are so important to me now. I've started taking a lot more walks and doing Pilates at home. That's been useful for me. I feel a lot fitter and stronger, and I sleep for about 9 to 9.5 hours, which I believe is quite good for the amount of things that I am doing with my life to still get that amount of rest in. On that note, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. Like, how embarrassing is that? Like, I do believe I'm still fairly young, and so, but yeah, I just like don't breathe when I sleep, which means I get less deep sleep. Like, my Apple Watch tracks my sleep, and the amount of deep sleep I get, it's like 3 to 4 minutes. I think people should get at least like 15 to 20, if I remember correctly. So that is shocking, which means I basically need more and more rest. So I'll be sleeping a lot. And then reading, so passionate about reading. If you want to follow my reading journey, you can check out my Goodreads page. please follow me so I can get more reading recommendations from you as well. So if you're interested in the books I'm reading, the next part of this video will show you some of them. If you don't care, it's fine. You can skip to another chapter. Okay, y'all, this is one of my 4 bookshelves, and then this section is fiction in Korean, Japanese, and English. Then I have theology, Bible books, Bible study books, systematic theology, etc. General foreign language learning books. We've got Thai, Arabic, Spanish, Korean, Norwegian, French, Hungarian, Turkish, and a bit of Japanese. These are all of my Japanese language learning books. We've got JLPT focus books over here. Sorry for this horrible angle. Then this one is graphic design, product design, and art. These are non-fiction books in Japanese, Korean, and English. Then I have my big art books here. There's a gap because I've been using them at my desk for my thesis. And then these are other like art design and cooking books. On the note of fiction, because I recently got into fiction after years of only swearing by non-fiction, let me show you what my current reads are, or my to-read books. I also have a ton more books in my bedroom that I'm also reading, but I'm gonna leave them for another video if you're interested. Yukio Mishima is one of my favorite authors. I'm also writing about him in my thesis. So this book is Life for Sale, and I also just recently bought Death in Midsummer by him, and I also have his book Star. Malibu Rising I saw was trending on Goodreads. I'm not sure if it's gonna be what I like. I don't know if it's like girly fiction, you know what I mean, like romance, or I don't know, but it seemed like a good read. Then The Idiot by Elif Batuman. Heard very, very good things about this. I believe it's about a Turkish exchange student in the US. Really excited to read that. We have 1984 by George Orwell. I've got The Midnight Library. I've heard this is really good too, so I'm hoping to finish that. I recently ordered Cleopatra and Frankenstein. If you know, you know, like you may be seeing a trend in the genres I like. Like some of my favorite recent reads have been The Virgin Suicides and My Year of Rest and Relaxation. So some of you may think that my reading choice is very problematic, but if you know, you know. Then we've got Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Many of my friends have said like this hits too close to home. They couldn't finish it because they were crying too much. I believe I will feel the same, like regarding identity. Not being in your passport country, etc. So I think this will be good and maybe a tearjerker. Then we've got Bunny by Mona Awad. Very excited to read this one. Again, it's on the, oh my word! Again, it's on the kind of questionable, disturbing fiction line. A Clockwork Orange. I got Almond in Korean, almond. I have After Dark in Japanese. I've read Normal People by Sally Rooney. Not for me, but I've heard that Beautiful World, Where Are You is pretty good. So those are my fiction reads at the moment. If you do want to see more books, especially non-fiction, then leave a comment. You can say books and then I'll know to make a video about books. Then as we head towards the end of the year, I am leaving my apartment in the last 2 or 3 months of this year. And then I have to decide like, what on earth am I doing? I can pretty much apply for a job wherever and see what works. Obviously committing my plans to God is the most important, because I learned the hard way that making my own plans does not always work out the way I thought and dreamed it would. Really at the position of being like, God, whatever you want me to do, I will do it. You send me to another country, keep me in South Africa, whatever. I will do it because I trust that God knows what is best for me. So really, that's my plan. Otherwise, I believe that I can still have dreams and desires. So it's really on my heart to move to Spain. I don't know why, I can't explain it, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna up my Spanish, I'm gonna apply for jobs in Spain. I do acknowledge and appreciate that the job market there is not great, but I'm gonna try and see. Otherwise, I would love to do a bit more traveling while still freelancing as a YouTuber, a coach, and a language tutor. Yeah, the plans are to go to Europe, specifically Hungary, Spain, the Netherlands, and Belgium, because I have friends there. If you live there, let me know. And in October, I will be traveling to Japan for 3 weeks. It's usually my intention to go to Japan once a year. So this will be my 14th, 13th time in Japan. So if you're gonna be in Japan from the middle of October to November-ish, and you do wanna hang out for a coffee, please do join me. I don't usually do like fan meets, is that what you call them? Meets, because I feel really awkward with all the attention on me, and it just still feels kind of weird to consider myself like a YouTube personality and then arrange like a whole meet, like meet up with Lindie. It's just, I'm sorry, I just can't. I really can't. But what I would love to do is meet some of you in person. I've had quite a few people recognize me in public when I go to Tokyo or Seoul, even in Taipei and Singapore. Then, you know, if we have a nice conversation, we can go grab a coffee. So those are my thoughts, my ideas, the reason I left my job, updates on my health, and basically how I'm restarting my life. I feel like this is a clean, fresh slate to start over and just take time to find out what's important for me. You know, reset my nervous system, travel, experience things, and learn new skills, and just heal from the last 2 years. Thank you if you've watched until here. I really appreciate those of you who stay around, who have been here for a while and watch my silly little updates. So I love you guys. And I will then see you in the next video. Bye!